is the day, people. I finally got my hands on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. I have never used a foldable device before, so I really do not understand what kind of sorcery they put in this, because when you're using the screen, you literally cannot see the crease. It's crazy. I do need to be honest though, I am an Apple girly through and through. I have the iPhone, I have the AirPods, I have the MacBook, but I do not have an iPad or a tablet, and I have really been wanting one. So I'm very curious to see whether the Z Fold 7 would replace my need for a tablet or an iPad. And for these prices, it better. The price of this phone is kind of crazy, especially in Canadian dollars. So I'm going to be trying out the phone for the next week to test out, is the Z Fold 7 worth its price point?
So today we're gonna go on a little bit of a road trip. We're going to Collingwood and we're actually getting to test out this Mustang EcoBoost. Yeah, the Mustang EcoBoost. Yeah, it'll be a fun road trip with the car and with the phone, because this is my first day really testing out the phone. I'm not driving, passenger princess, so I will have some time in the car to actually, like, you know, get the phone up and running.
I decided I wasn't going to transfer everything over from my iPhone to the Samsung. I just have like so much stuff on my iPhone and I just didn't want to transfer everything over. So we're starting from scratch. So now I'm spending the car ride downloading all the apps that I normally use, setting into everything, the whole thing. One of the first things that I'm noticing about the Fold is that it's skinnier than the iPhone. So when I'm typing on the main outer screen of the Samsung, it feels a little bit squished. The keyboard feels a little bit smaller, a little bit squished, but I do feel like I'm making less typing errors than when I am typing on my iPhone. I make so many typing errors when I'm on the iPhone. I'm not really sure what that's about, but I do feel like I'm making less of those on the Samsung. So even though it feels a little more uncomfortable, it seems to be a little bit more accurate. I don't know whether that's just like a me thing and I'm just like bad at typing on phones. I don't know. Another thing that I looked into right away on the Fold was the brightness. So the Z Fold 7 can actually go quite a bit brighter than the iPhone, but the feature is actually a little bit hidden. You can't just go to the regular pull down screen to find it. You actually have to go into the settings, and then there's a setting that you can turn on called extra bright mode. I love this feature. It makes using the phone so much easier in the sunlight. I just wish that this feature was a little bit more accessible. I think I would use it more. I wish it was in the regular pull down screen. Okay, so we're going for breakfast. This was a very kind of like not well planned out day trip, so we don't know where we're going, but we found somewhere that looks good for breakfast, so we shall see. On the open road. I'm literally soaked. We tried to go to the Blue Mountain Village and it was kind of raining, but like just a smidge. As soon as we get like 10 minutes from the car, it starts pouring. Then we ran back to the car and now I'm actually soaked.
She had good hopes, she had dreams, but she didn't know the weather had other plans for her. And this is a story of Alex.
We're trying to rectify the day by going to get a matcha for the road on the way home. One thing that I'm very curious about is how quickly the Z Fold 7 charges, and I have just the thing for the test. So Taurus actually sent me over their FlexLine 67-watt retractable charger. What I love about this charger is that it has a cable built in, so we don't need to remember multiple things when we're going out and when we're traveling. All we need to do is grab the charger and we are good to go. It's really compact and the plug even folds in, making it so easy to carry in your purse or your bag. The Taurus FlexLine charger has a 1 meter retractable cable. All of that cable in this one tiny little little charger is actually crazy. You don't need to carry around a short cable and a long cable. This single cable lets you adjust the length as you need, which is super convenient. The cable pulls out very smooth, tangle-free, and is so durable. It's been lab tested to withstand 10,000 pulls. So if you were to pull out the cable 3 times per day, they say it will last you 10 years. The cable head is also magnetic, so it snaps back into place so cleanly. There's also a second cable slot, so you can charge 2 devices at one time with the 67-watt output. The FlexLine charger actually has intelligent device detection, so it will distribute power optimally to each port to ensure fast and safe charging. It also has temperature control, which is actually a very important feature to have in a charger. Use the link in the description to get your Taurus 67-watt charger, and thank you so much to Taurus for sponsoring this portion of the video and supporting the channel. Okay, I need to be so honest with you. There are quite a lot of features on this phone, and there are quite a lot of ways that you can customize this phone. And in all honesty, from somebody coming from an iPhone to the Samsung, the transition process is not the smoothest, and it is kind of confusing. I've had to watch so many videos to figure out all the features of the Samsung, Google so many things, and even still, I feel like I have not figured everything out. Now, partly that's because, I'm not used to using a Samsung, but partly I think this phone just has like so many ways you can customize it, which is amazing, but just know that if you get this phone, you will have to spend a bit of time watching videos and researching how to actually use every feature. And make sure you actually do spend the time to figure out how to do it, because I feel like if you don't, you're going to miss out on really cool features of the phone, and then you're not going to fully get your money's worth out of this phone. Okay, for example, there are so many ways that you can customize the big screen of the phone, or just so many ways that you can make using the bigger screen easier for yourself. Let me show you what I'm talking about. One of the things I was most curious about before getting this phone is how typing works on the big inner screen. The default keyboard is actually pretty interesting. It's a split keyboard, and you're supposed to use each half with each hand. Honestly, this is a little tricky to get used to because, for example, I'm used to hitting the letter T with my right hand, but on this keyboard, you're supposed to hit it with your left. But I do understand why they made this keyboard, because if you're typing with 2 hands, this kind of makes the most sense. But like I said, this phone is very customizable. So if you hit this little keyboard icon, you can actually change what your keyboard looks like. There's a standard keyboard, which is pretty self-explanatory. It is just a regular keyboard. I kind of like the standard keyboard, but you do definitely have to stretch your fingers if you're going to be typing with 2 hands. And then the very fun keyboard option is the floating keyboard that you can put anywhere on the screen. Obviously, this is a really cool feature, but at first I didn't really understand why this would be necessary. But now I understand that, for one thing, it makes it easier to type with 1 hand because you can move the keyboard over to your right or to your left. And it also gives you flexibility on what you're able to see in an app if you can pick where the keyboard's going to be, especially if you're using something like split screen mode, which we will talk about in a second. So you can actually customize how big the floating keyboard is, but here's the thing, it's kind of hidden. You hit the 3 little dots, and then you have to go in and add different features to this menu. One of those is changing the size of the keyboard. I just don't really understand why this is customizable. Why are not all 4 options just available when I hit the dots? Why do I have to then add them to this menu? Especially because there's only 4 options. If there were 100, okay, sure, you don't necessarily need all 100 options every time you hit the 3 little dots, so I could see why we might need to customize that, but there's literally 4 options. This is one example of how this phone is very customizable, which, very cool. I like those features, but I think some of them are just maybe a little extra, but maybe that's just me. Okay, it's time to talk about the best feature that this phone has to offer, in my opinion, and that is split screen mode. Other Samsung devices like the S25 also have split screen mode. It is actually a crime that the iPhones do not have this yet. I don't understand why they don't have this feature. One of the best uses for split screen mode, in my opinion, is trying to find places to eat. So when I'm trying to find somewhere to eat, I am always flipping between Google Maps to look up what's around and what the reviews are, and then also searching on social media to find people's recommendations for that area. So I decided to open both at the same time, and oh my gosh, this made the process so much easier. I would find a place on TikTok, and then I was able to search up that place on Google Maps to see if it was anywhere near me. There's a few ways to use split screen mode, but one of them requires you to actually go into the settings to turn it on, which is honestly kind of annoying. And this is what I'm talking about when I said there's just so many ways to customize this phone. Like too many ways maybe. So you go into settings, advanced features, multi-window, and then you turn on swipe for split screen mode. And then you're able to use 2 fingers to swipe up an app and put it in split screen mode. Gosh, this is such a tongue twister. And you can swipe from any side of the screen, so you can adjust where you want the split screen mode, whether you want it like landscape or portrait, and which side you want to open. The other way to use split screen mode is have an app open, then hit the little apps icon and drag an app to a part of the screen where you want it to go. You can also have up to 3 apps open at one time on split screen mode. This is just so crazy. The iPhone could never. I'm not really sure how I would use 3 apps at one time. Maybe having my like content creator apps all open at once, or maybe if I was trying to compare the price of a product at a few different stores online, I'm sure I would find a use for it. Another really cool multitasking feature is if you have split screen mode open, but now you only want to see one app on your main page, you can actually push that second app off to the side, and now you can easily toggle between the two. Another very cool use of the big screen is using the fold up mode where you fold your phone in half and then now you almost have like a phone stand within your phone. This makes watching anything on your phone so much easier. That way you don't have to like prop your phone up on something. Oh, I love this. Okay, now to test out the camera. Like the Samsung S25, the Z Fold 7 has such an impressive camera, although the two are not identical. In terms of the video camera, the standout feature of the Z Fold 7 is of course the fact that it can film in 8K. The S25 Ultra also films in 8K, but the iPhone does not. That being said, one thing to note is that you can only film in 8K using the 1x zoom. If you want to use the 2 or 3x zoom, then you're only filming in 4K on the Z Fold 7. The Z Fold 7 also has a pro video mode that allows you to film log footage. It also allows you to film at 24 frames per second, whereas the regular video mode only allows 30 and 60, which makes sense because the only people that really use 24 frames per second are like YouTubers and filmmakers, and they will probably want to use log footage anyway. And just in case you don't know that much about log footage in frames per second, basically log footage allows you to color grade your footage easier. So that's why it's kind of used by like YouTubers, filmmakers, or just like slightly more advanced content creators, because you actually have to do the color grading on the footage. And then 24 frames per second is kind of considered a little bit more of a cinematic look. It's used in movies, so that's why a lot of YouTubers often use it. And then for short form platforms like Instagram and TikTok, they actually use 30 frames per second on those platforms, so that's why it's recommended to film in either 30 or 60 frames per second. Now we're going to compare the cameras on the Z Fold 7 to the iPhone 16 Pro Max, because if I want to try and figure out whether this phone is actually worth the money, I'm going to have to compare it to another phone. First up, let's compare the selfie cameras. Okay, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to tell, but in the Samsung preview of the video, I look so old and gray. Like, I don't know, it just looks odd, maybe grainy a little bit, whereas with the iPhone, I look a lot brighter. I look my age. I look like how I look in the mirror. Yeah, it's very weird. I'm not sure whether it's just the preview of the video in the Samsung looks different. It will be very interesting to see when I actually look at the video that was recorded. What does it actually look like? I like how I'm talking to myself in the phones, but you guys can actually see me in the camera too. Okay, I think we can see that the preview that I was seeing in the phones was correct. I look more gray in the Samsung for some reason. Now, I don't think I look as old as I thought I did, but I'm definitely more colorful in the iPhone and more gray in the Samsung, which honestly isn't great. Like, yeah, I could edit my video in the Samsung's, increase the saturation, make it more colorful, but I shouldn't have to do that. Thankfully, you don't even really need to use the selfie camera on the Z Fold 7 because you can actually record with the back camera and see yourself on the front screen. As a content creator, I think this is the coolest feature that this phone has to offer. I love filming with the back camera on my iPhone because the quality is better, but it annoys me to no end that I cannot see myself or that I have to like set up a mirror behind my phone or like use one of those monitors. Okay, now I'm using the back camera on both phones. This is definitely way clearer in the Samsung. Of course, the Samsung has a preview screen, so I can't even see what's going on in the iPhone. I can only see what's going on in the Samsung. But yeah, this, like, the sharpness is actually crazy, honestly. Like, maybe a little bit too much. Like, do I need to see every eye wrinkle that I have? Like, no, I really don't. But like, the quality is actually kind of crazy. Yeah, I definitely prefer the back camera, which is, I mean, that's obvious. On the iPhone, I prefer the back camera as well. It's clear. One other thing that I've noticed while playing around with the camera on the Z Fold 7 is that the photo preview that you get is not accurate to the way that the photo will actually look, which is kind of weird. So when you take a photo, there's a little bit of like processing that happens afterwards, and you can actually watch the photo change after you've taken it. Honestly, this isn't ideal because then you don't fully know what your photo is going to look like while you're trying to take it. Now, the difference is minor, but still. Okay, we're at the mall. We're going to the Nespresso store to get more pods. I've actually never been to the Nespresso store, and apparently they give you free coffee, maybe, so that would be nice.
She's an imposter. She did not, I repeat, she did not buy the Nespresso pods.
Okay, back in the car, and there's two things that I've noticed about the Z Fold 7 while being out. One, the phone is very slippery. I don't have a case on this phone because I'm just testing out for a few weeks, but it fell right in between the seat of the car, which I know can happen to any phone, but I don't know, without the case, it is quite slippery. Also on Instagram, a few people were asking me whether there were cases available for the Z Fold 7 because people just had a hard time trying to visualize what a case would actually look like on this phone. And I was actually at a Samsung event a little while ago when we were kind of first getting a look at the Z Fold 7, and there are cases available. So don't worry, if you want to buy this phone, you will be able to protect your phone. There are cases. And the other thing that I noticed is that there's a decent amount of reflection coming off the main screen of the Z Fold 7. When I tested out the S25 Ultra, there were very, very limited reflection on that phone. So that is something to note, that the Z Fold 7 has, you know, some reflection in the sunlight. Okay, honestly, I've been loving using the big screen. It's gonna be really sad for me to go back to my iPhone because I think I'm just now obsessed with using the big screen and multitasking. I now see why this phone has the price tag that it does, because it honestly really could replace a tablet. If I did have this phone, I definitely don't think that I would go and buy a tablet. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please feel free to like and subscribe. Help a girl out. I have a goal to hopefully hit 10K by the end of the year, and I will see you all in the next one.